The during duel. One day, Charlie and Smelly were being really naughty, like they are fighting over the coaches, and that's what made them start the fight. Those are my coaches, said Charlie. No, they're not, said Smelly. They're mine. Mine. And the two of them started fighting over the coaches when Boko came in. Guys, he said, stop fighting. Why don't we share the coaches? No, said Smelly, and then biffed Charlie off. Ow! And shoved away. Later, Smelly was done with the coaches, and then Charlie decided something. You know what, Smelly, he said. What's that? Said Smelly. What about a during duel? This time you're not so lucky. Fine then, said Smelly, and they were ready to start the race. No! And then Charlie raced off. Hey, said Smelly, and raced far after Charlie. Just then, however, Mike was taking a goods train back to the scrapyard, and there was Charlie. Look out! He said, as he biffed the goods off the rails and pushed Mike off. Mike spud off, and his tender went upside down, and the coal was empty. Poor Mike fell off in disgrace, while Charlie was being chased by Smelly. They went in Boulder Mountain, and there they went out. See ya! Hi, Spencer, said Charlie. Ow! Whoa, said Spencer. Slow down. But they didn't slow down. And there was Smelly out of Boulder Mountain and raced off too. Slow down as well, Smelly, said Spencer. But they both didn't hear. They were having a daring duel against one another. Charlie nearly made it, but Smelly was nearly there. At last, however, Charlie was not being so lucky enough. Charlie was not being so lucky enough. There was trouble ahead. There was Proteus at the siding, resting with his goods. What he has to take to the station bay. And then Charlie's driver applied the brakes, but the signalman changed the point. Whoa, said Charlie, and then Smelly was not that lucky at all. Whoa, he went, when suddenly he realized that he was rolling. He fluttered off and into the bank. Ow! said Smelly, and then Charlie fluttered off too and crashed into Mike's tender. They were all derailed. Just then, they were all derailed, and then the Fat Controller, however, arrived on board Proteus's sister Penny. Then the Fat Controller came to see them in disgrace. I'm very close with the both of you, he said. Who started this fight? Well, you shouldn't have blamed this on me, said Smelly. Blame it on him. What? said Charlie. He started it, and he said it in a lie. Right, said the Fat Controller. This daring duel is a silly game no matter who wins or lose, he said, and then they all sobbed as well. After when the two engines were grounded in the sheds, Smelly was grumpy at the sheds that night, And then Toby did not like this at all. Fancy, said Charlie, a really smelly engine that looks like Smelly, becoming a Smelly to the Fat Controller's Railway. We'll see about that, said Smelly, and this made Toby annoyed. Calm down, both of you, he said. You're not as bad as one another, like you as well, Charlie. In what kind of time, said Charlie. Like, continued Toby, that time you misplaced my special coach, he said. The only coach I've had since Henrietta, he said. Oh really, said Charlie. Let me spell it out with you, he said. You're not one of them. But at least Toby had enough and went away. Oh, I wish you two were friends, he said. I had enough. But they didn't quit. They would never do this at all. They had another race. They had another race at the next day and came off the rails. Ow! They said that hurt. Ow! It did with me, said Charlie. Serves you right, said Toby. You shouldn't have done that fight yesterday, he said. And then Smelly had something to say. I'm sorry I was mean, he said. And I'm sorry I was rude, said Charlie. And they decided to quit the daring do. And they will never do this argument ever again. And they know it's a really silly thing to do on Sodor. They could really get in trouble. And they all agreed that it's really silly.